This year's escape room was about pirates. The theme was about pirates. So basically every time I had a group come in, it was between 4 to 5 kids, and I would tell them what they had to do. They have different hints and what to look for and what not to do as well, climbing or touching any electrical stuff. Then I gave them a story about a captain that has left the ship and abandoned you mateys to survive before the ship sinks. He left his main key in the bedroom and a double locked treasure chest. You have a total of 8 locks and 2 doors to open. Then I would ask them if they had any questions, answer those, and then I would tell them, alrighty then, good luck escaping the room and your time starts now. So then they would start scrambling, and things that they would find quick was this map, this eye patch, this letter Y, which would go right here. The letter E, some knew quick that it would spell matey. Another thing they would find was this made up telescope, but some would not even touch it till later on. These bottles, like message in a bottle. And here was another message or clue. And I would tell them to put it on the table. They had paper and pencil to write whatever clues they found. Another eye patch. Right here in this boot, they had a clue that said flags and boot. A lot of them would start asking, why do we need the boots? And they would look up here and try to get that one, even though I told them not to. This sword had a message and it said, sometimes pirates dig in the blank to find treasure. And some would get it quick, others would take a while, but it was sand, so they would need that for later on. Would come over here and look at this paper but not do anything with it, but it was a clue as well. I always tell them, put the clues on the table. A few would look at these keys, they were able to open it, and there was a lot of keys. However, only one was important, this one. This would open this right here, this little lock. I got this lock at Wish for like $2, and from the carpet rolls, that's how I made these poles, like if we were on a ship. This was a clue. North, 4 left, 9 right. They would always put it here. This sword would say, add the coordinate. Over here, this monkey barrel would have a compass. Another message in a bottle. Some would come quickly here to take out this key from the maze and get it out, which would open this lock. This purse had another letter for the word matey. Then they had this book, Jack Sparrow, and over here there was a lock. Some would get it quick, others it would take a while, but the code was Jack, so they had to put Jack, and they would get another clue right here with the map that they found earlier. Forgot to show you, but when they opened it, it was another clue. The telescope, they would look through it, it would say a message, and if they put it towards the light, it would say, figure out which way is north and steer your way to the first clue. Which quickly, some would figure out that you needed the compass. So they would go around the room and boom, north was on this wall. So they knew that. During the hint section, I told them to compare the stickers. So all these had monkeys, and they would have to figure out each clue. It sits on a pirate's shoulder and doesn't ever fly away. Funniest thing about it is that it repeats what you say. So they would write down parrot on their blank sheet of paper. This one was, when looking for buried gold, This item helps a lot, as on this piece of paper is where X marks the spot, which was a treasure map. If you want to be a pirate, you will need this without fail. So what you can travel around, you need something you can sail, a ship. This item contains shiny things. You'll have to wait to find out what. It's what you'll end up digging up once you've found the X that marks the spot, a treasure chest. And the last clue was this one. If you are a pirate and you get in a fight, you might need to wear this if you lose half of your sight, the eye patch. So they would write all that down here on their paper. During the hunt as well, this treasure chest was here. This dead man's chest was here. So here's the sand, and we talked about this earlier. What they had to do was go around digging for information, and they would find this. Bottles of beer on the wall. And they were quick to say, oh, we gotta count the bottles of beer on the wall. They would start singing the song. So they counted these. There was 10 here, but little did they know there was some more in the bedroom. The key they got from the maze, they would open this chest. And look, another monkey. What they had to do with the words that they found from all the clues is put them in here and then get a word down here. So this one was ship, and I would always tell them start with the smallest one and the words you have. And they knew that this was a space, so treasure map, treasure chest, and so on and so forth, until they came out with the clue here, which would open this lock. So at the end, it would be tier and then an H. They're like, it's not a word. And I told them it doesn't have to be a word, it just has to be a code. And they found the letter A and a key. The A was there, all they were missing was the M for matey. And here as well, there was another boot with another code. This one was a bit hard for them. This one, as well as this one. So I would put it over here, that way they could use it over here. And then I made the kids draw a picture of pirates themed things, and I made a story, and they had to find some coordinates. We'll get to that later. Over here with this clue, they would look at the pirate from Pirates of the Caribbean. They had to match it, and it would give them is at end. I'll tell them to write that down. The other one was up here, and it would say red north. Once they put it down here, red north is at end. So they knew that the red north was at the end of one of the clues. When they opened the book they created, it would say it was a dark and stormy night. Lightning, thunder, and rain filled the skies that night. Captain James and his wife Anna were sailing up the North Atlantic Ocean. The rough waters of the ocean was banging against their boat. They did everything to stay alive. Captain James and his wife said, "We must find land to stay alive." All of a sudden, this 1,987-inch wave came crashing down on their boat, knocking Captain James and Anna out of their boat. They woke up on a beach in Agadir, blank, a few feet away from their boat. Find the coordinates of their boat. Blank blank times blank blank equals 3 numbers. So this one was another hard one, but I told them to look for main words in that story, and some would catch on and say boat. So within the word boat, I put the word Morocco in different spots. And over here, Captain James and Anna in 1987. So they would figure, oh, they're talking about this frame. So some would say Morocco is a place, which they had to go over here and find it. Right there. So the coordinates was 10 degrees and 30 degrees. So 30 times 10 was 300. And I tell them to write that down in their paper. With the key they found in the treasure chest, they would go here, and this is what will happen. The door to the bedroom will open. Over here, there was a boot with another eye patch, an eye patch here, and the letter M. So once they put the M here, this is what happens. That would open, which gave them another clue. Bottles, eye patch. In here, there was this little ship that if they opened it, it would give them this clue. That clue was there too, as well as this money bag. And as you could see, there were more bottles. Once they counted all their bottles, which was 29 when you add these with the ones over there, it was a total of 29. So I told them to write the number 29. So once they put these together, they knew that flags plus booty times bottles, which was 29, they had to put it there, minus eye patch. There was 4 eye patch, so they would put it here. For booty, they would open here, this coin bag, and they had to count the change in here, which would give them 96 cents. So 96 cents, and then plus the flags. So I told them they need to count well, they already knew. Well, since we're counting, guess we got to count the flags. So there was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and this one was very hard for them. 7 flags they had to put it. Then this was missing another part, so they kept on looking for other parts. In here was an encyclopedia, and I would direct them to the maze and say, look under the maze, what does it say? They were like, numbers and piracy. So I said, okay, look in that page. Once they found the page they were looking for, or the word piracy with the stickers just like there, and I said, what looks different? And they were quick to say, oh, it's highlighted. So they knew already Morocco, and then the other one was Shetland Islands. They didn't know where that was, and a lot of them did not look for this, but over here in this frame was a picture. However, if they took it out of the frame and turned it, it was a map which said home, and then 2 burnt holes, a 0 minus 2 numbers, then equals 2 number. So I would tell them, what is home for us? Which was Washington, D.C., which is where we live. So they had to put Washington, D.C. in there and then straighten this out. Once they had Washington, they would see Shetland Islands and the coordinates 0, 0, 60. So 60 minus 0 equals 60. And the sword told them to add the coordinates, which was 300 before, plus the 60 now, 360, which would take them to this chest. And here was the last part of this. So hooks. There was 1, 2, 2 hooks. So once they had all that, they needed to figure out the 4-number code. This was the last treasure box they needed to open, the 2 locks, just like I said in the story. They would go from left to right and would get a wrong number. And then some would see this when they came in or after, or I would direct them to them and say, what is that? And they would say a panda. But does it say panda? And they said, no, it says pandas. And they said, oh, parenthesis, exponent, multiplication, division, adding, subtraction. The order of operations for math. So they had to multiply first. 96 times 29 equals 2784. Then 4 divided by 2 equals 2. Minus 2. And the plus 7. So once you did that, it came up to 2789. They would put 2789 and it would open that one. Now they needed to open this last one. The last one, as you see, it's a directional lock. So they had to figure out from earlier with the telescope that if they figure out which way is north, which was this wall, blue and blue north, then they would have to steer their way. So they would get this, steer, and see that there was a red, black, green, and blue north. So the directions were 4 left, 9 right. So they would have to go as if you were driving. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 9 right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So they had to write south. They also had this one with the black north on the steer. They had that one with the green north on the steer. And under here, they had this box. Another telescope. I don't think you'll be able to see, but in there it said red north, 2 left. So once they had all those in order, it would be south, west, east, south. They would open the box. Get this key and open this small lock. And their time was up. Hope you enjoyed, because the kids sure enjoyed it.